I would like to share with you a new way to look at our universe. So here it is. The dark membrane, the dark universe, the empty void. There's very little compassion in this membrane. It's dark, it's cold, it's bitter, it's harsh, it's destructive, and it's filled with radiation that is designed to kill life. The universe does not support life. It's not a mechanism that supports life. It's disordered energy. It's ugly energy. It's dark. Well, there's another universe. It's called the light universe, the light membrane. It's made of frequencies. It's light frequencies. Light's nothing but frequencies. So light, and it actually works like this. Light is the under foundation of this dark universe. It's invisible. It's invisible light frequencies that penetrate this dark universe. It goes back to the Big Bang. The light universe influenced the creation of particles, to atoms, to molecules, and then took the disordered energy and created explosions to create the heavy elements that could create planets. Light influenced the galaxies and the suns. It added light to the dark membrane. It influenced our Milky Way. Light created the black hole at the center of our galaxy to start moving the materials around, and then formed those long spiraling arms. And in between the arms, the radiation decreased. Light took our realm, our solar system, and moved it away from the destruction, the radiation, the disorder in the center of the galaxy, where life cannot exist, and put us into a safe realm far away from the real destruction going on in the center of our galaxy. It did all that to create this Earth, the only compassionate structure in our corner of the galaxy. Earth is compassion. It's a light system created by the light universe, intelligent design. It took a lot of science and technology to create this. Created it in a void that is attached to time. Time is like frequencies of light. Light penetrated this membrane all through time. Since the light universe is timeless, it's done all the processing in a flash of the moment to this universe. Evolution in time slows down the processing that light can do in an instant. That's why it took so long to create Earth and life, because of evolution and time slowed it down. But it did it. Earth is a compassionate structure created by intelligent design from the light universe. It has a soul, a light soul. We are part of that light soul. We are human souls attached to this light system. This light system, this Earth, this compassionate nature that we are a part of and that we get to help form, we are moving Earth up light frequencies into the light universe. We are not pulling heaven down to earth. We are raising earth up out of the dark membrane into heaven. And we're going to do that through evolution by learning the technology and the science that was used to create this compassionate structure in such a big void. That's what evolution is about. We are learning how to apply technology. Right now, we are using technology in the wrong manner. But we will learn how to create a technical world of automation, a technical marvel, beautiful technical world that eliminates money, politics, war, greed, hatred, bigotry. Because we can build a world. Technology can literally build a compassionate world now, to where technology can house and feed us. And we have to do it because of the population growth. Right now, we can't feed all the kids in the world. And we have kids dying every day from malnutrition, starvation. Only technology can maximize Earth resources to feed everybody, to house everybody. That is compassion. The compassion is in Earth to do that. That's what we are learning to do. In fact, we will get so good at this, we'll be able to define our nature by realizing what membrane we are applying. Handguns are explosive. They mirror the disordered universe, the explosions in the universe. The combustible engine, same thing. It's an explosion. It mirrors the disorder in the universe, the explosive nature. A bomb mirrors our dark membrane, the explosions that take place in the universe. It's destructive energy, disordered energy. And we're applying that energy on Earth when we should be taking care of Earth and humans. We'll apply the technology from light, which happens to be the solar energy from the sun. That sun is not there by accident. It is there to shine light on darkness so we can learn that technology, that give and take between the sun and earth that creates life, that creates compassion. And when we learn that, we will build that world. We will build compassion on top of Earth. It's already a compassionate structure, but we will build it on top of Earth to take care of humans. And then we will free our minds of the disorder, of the explosions, the money, the politics, the nationalisms, the governments, the fighting, the disorder. That will disappear, and we will raise Earth right into a world of love and compassion, where there is no more judgment, bigotry, hatred, where there are no more insane explosions, because they don't exist in the light universe. They only exist here on Earth. We're kind of in the middle. We're kind of right now, we're in the middle of dark and light. We're kind of halfway up. And when we get that technology all squared away, we're just going to keep moving it up and up and up, right into light. That's what Earth is. It's a compassionate structure. It's a light system built by light. Our human souls are built by light. We are attached to Earth. And that is our function. That's what evolution is about. That's what this whole process was about, to bring us to this moment of learning technology and science to build compassion on Earth so we can have peace and harmony. That's who we are. That's what this is. Earth is a compassionate structure of life. Life is compassion. We are that compassion. That's what we are. We're part of a great magical system because it took a lot of magic to create this earth, and we're going to learn that magic, and then we're going to create a magical existence, because that's what this place is. It is 100% magic amongst all this disorder out there that we are so funny that we have these nice telescopes and we look out into the universe and we see all those pretty stars and those pretty galaxies and all that empty, dark, bitter, cold, destructive space, and we think it's beautiful. It's not beautiful. It's filled with radiation designed to kill us. This is beautiful. This is compassion. That's how special this is. And if this is special and we were born on this planet, that makes us special to the universe. One of the few special species that's brilliant enough to learn the technology to help Earth along.
The recently discovered Higgs boson is a particle from the light membrane. And what discovered that particle? Science. The Higgs boson and many other invisible particles of the light membrane rearranged the radiation from the Big Bang into the best possible mechanism that can support life. Light used the disordered energy of explosion to arrive at the calculations it desired. The proper interpretations of Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism contain the basic principles of how we exist between light and dark. But to get to the full version, we will have to go through science and then apply science to our environment. That means perceiving the dark membrane correctly and Earth correctly. Perhaps it's time that when we look up at the night sky, we realize exactly where we are. We are inside disorder, so we act with disorder. And the best part? What happens in disorder stays in disorder. Light will not let the dark enter. Both will remain completely separated. I urge you to Google near-death experiences. Overwhelmingly, the first word used to describe the occurrence has been light, and then followed by the human interpretation to God. Nonetheless, light is the first thing you will see, and it does not matter what you believe. It will pull every human out of the darkness. Light will do so in many ways, but always constructed to your thought system. Please keep in mind that these are short visits. A long stay is even more magical. Pay attention, you scientists. This is what you are trying to prove.
I am dead. And at that point, I saw this bright light above my head. Well, I couldn't move my body, but I look up into the light. And this light is coming down. It's the most beautiful light I'd ever seen. It was just breathtaking. And I remember it coming down and enveloping me and taking me into the light. And I ended up in this pure white room. And instantly I knew where I was and where I was going. And I was going home to God. I was going home to Father is what came through my head.
And when I was in heaven for a while, it took a while, then I started realizing, oh my gosh, not only is this a place of utter completeness and love and beautiful perfection, but it's also the absence of everything terrible. No strife, no sin, no envy, no competition, and no hatred, nothing but just the opposite.
It was the most beautiful experience that I've ever had in my entire life.
So in that second, I realized, okay, I'm dead. I look up. All of a sudden in the kitchen, I see this like huge white light coming from the ceiling to the floor. And it's just like, boom. And it's right there. And I just knew like, okay, that's home. Like that's where I'm supposed to go. So I had nowhere really else to go. No one was talking to me. I had no body. So I just like naturally moved into the light. So I went into the light. And as I was moving up into the light, I just started to feel so good.
And as it starts to grow, I can't take my attention off of it because it's what I'm drawn to now. I'm drawn to this little tiny, tiny glimmer that's out there that's growing. And as it grows and starts to encompass more of the space where the darkness was, I'm feeling this pull, pulling me forward into it. I'm no longer feeling this from behind, I'm feeling this pull from in front of me into this glimmer of light. And all of a sudden it starts to grow, and everything is illuminated in this light, including me. And I'm overwhelmed by the feeling of being in this light.
It ramped up and up and up until I was in pure, utter bliss. Absolutely beautiful experience. And, you know, maybe some of the viewers have heard stories of a tunnel, traveling through a tunnel. That didn't happen to me. Maybe some of the viewers have heard of like floating above your body and seeing the body, and that didn't happen to me. But I did become aware of a point of white light, intense, brilliant, gajillion times brighter than the sun. A little point of white light, and it was absolutely beautiful. It was alive. It was like breathing, and somehow I knew I had to go there. I don't know how I knew that, but I knew I had to go there. And remember, I didn't know that I had died. I didn't remember the accident, and I still was trying to figure out what was happening. But I knew I had to go toward the light, and as I approached the light, it got bigger and more intense, and more beautiful, and more loving, and it sucked me in and absorbed me. And I became the light, and the light became me. I was the white light. And a lot of experiencers talk about love, about this being a place of love. And I've tried to think of adjectives to describe the intensity of this love, you know, unconditional, pure, powerful. The only one that I can think of that works is infinite.
And as I pulled up away from the scene on the sidewalk, again I was consciously aware of moving up and what was beneath me, which is physically impossible. And I saw this one little place on the sidewalk. It's smaller and smaller, and a little valley in which it existed, and a little town, a city, and pulled way, way up until a point to where I saw the earth as a single living organic whole. And this was wonderful. This was so wonderful to me that I was overcome by the beauty of it, because I could see and feel and beat with the same heart as every individual that was living on this planet, as every amoeba that was swimming in the ocean. I could feel and hear the notes of this wonderful, grand, universal song that enveloped the whole earth. And I saw that we as individuals, as human beings, as human spirits existing in bodies, have a unique creative capacity on this plane of existence. And what makes us creative and very powerful is really the tone of our hearts. Not what we do, not what we own, not what we know, but really the tone of our hearts permeates the stuff of all physical existence.
In this realm, I am just aware that it is more real than real. I am met by this huge orb of light that comes from one corner, and I'm looking around at this beauty that I cannot believe. And at the same time, I'm so happy that I've made it to a garden of heaven. I believe I'm going to be judged And I meet this orb that tells me something audibly. I hear audibly, "You are here because you've come to me often." That also had to do with the early childhood time that I went with this source of light. And I'm being healed because I'm thinking that I'm being ready to walk down a small path to what I see as a golden gate of the entry to heaven, I believe. There was a lot of activity going on behind that gate. I could hear a lot of, I would call them souls, talking, and they were talking about us on earth and how they were preparing different events for different groups. I don't know, I'm still processing that, but it was all about loving us and helping us. So the path that was right in front of me was leading straight to that I say heaven, and I couldn't wait to get there. So I asked the great orb to the glisten of the eye of God, I said, because I thought I was such a not good person and not worth much on earth, and God could not ever come and see me, but I called it the glisten of the eye of God instead. And I asked it to judge me, that I was ready, and I even said, didn't I die with courage? And I would get just healing and instantaneous love beyond any love I ever felt, seen in a movie, told by a story in a storybook as a child or as an adult, these beautiful novels that we have on earth. It was better than any of that. It's indescribable. And I was told to look to my right and left, and I did, and I saw several souls who were just illuminated and sparkling their auras on the terrain, which was all diamond-like and crystal, beautiful white, shimmering rainbow colors as well because of the light from the orb on the ground. At one point, I looked down and I could see that I was shimmering, and it was the first time I realized that I was worth something.
Being an atheist, I was of a strong belief that there is no God, and I professed that very loudly to everybody, whoever I'll come in contact with, or whoever would do some religious things or prayers. I would always talk to them and will raise my opinion very strongly that there's no God, why you guys are doing all this. And then what happened was I questioned that where I was, and communication came to me, or somebody told me that you know very well where you are. And then I had a few questions that who is God, what's God, and the communication came to me saying that I have all the answers inside me. Somebody told me that you know all the answers, and all you need to do is look inside you, listen to yourself, and everything is in you. And then the other thing I remember very vividly is that somebody told me that you think you the center of the universe, everything, you are a very important person, and you control everything, but you are not. You're not the center of everything. Let me show you the center of the universe, or let me show you the universe. And then I moved towards a place, towards the edge of the valley, where there was a little gap between the hills, and I saw Earth spinning on its axis, and Earth was moving in one direction at that time, though it was spinning at the same time around its axis. And then other planets, they passed around, and I saw whole galaxies going by. And then I realized how insignificant I am in a bigger picture of the things. After that, the light, the clouds started moving, and the light started moving towards where I was. And pretty soon, the light was shining on top of me, like rays were falling on me. That was the best experience I had ever had in my life. When the light was falling on me, at that time, the wonderful thing happened to me was my brain or my mind, it stopped wandering altogether. It was calm, I was calm, peaceful, and there were no thoughts at all in my mind. No good thoughts, no bad thoughts, no nothing. I was just calm and at peace with myself.
And as you moved further into, like, further away from this earth, the pleasure felt even better. So you just moved up, it felt better and better. It was insane. So anyways, as I'm moving, like as I'm going up into the light, like you could just tell you're moving up, I looked to my side and like the dark was disappearing. So as I looked to the side, like the earth turned into blackness. So the earth kind of turned into black matter, and like all the objects and everything just kind of turned into this dark blackness. And then all of a sudden, as you're moving up into the light, which is white, right? Whitish light, the black starts disappearing. So all the black goes away because the light's taking it. And then the craziest thing was when I looked behind me, like all the way behind me from where I came from, I saw Earth, and Earth was like, it would be like you standing up and looking down and seeing like an ant on the ground. Like our entire universe was the size of an ant. Like it just made you realize how insignificant this life is. And, you know, we're only on this earth for a short period of time. But after this period of time, there's an eternal life that we have to live. And I don't think many people know that, you know, or many people believe it. I mean, I wasn't really sure. I didn't really like 100% maybe believe it before this happened. And then after this happened, I was like, whoa, you know, there is a place you go. And yeah, it's important for people to know that.
It was infinite love. If you can imagine your baby that you loved, imagine like the most intense feeling of love you've ever had, your mother or your dog, whatever it is. Imagine that, infinite, no end, so powerful and so absorbing, wave after wave after wave of cleansing white love washing over me. And I was the light. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. I was greeted by a being of some sort, a spirit of some sort, a floating sphere of awareness. He knew me. By the way, it was a masculine presence. And he knew me. I couldn't tell you what this thing was. It could have been an angel or it didn't look like anything. It didn't have a body. But it was an intelligent being like me. And he knew me, and he called me by name. He said, Raymond, come here. I want to show you some things, right? And then, so he absorbed me, and I absorbed him. We became one, and we fell in love. The love that I felt for Skippy, it was just like that, but like on steroids or something. And there was this, what I can only call a download, where it was like billions of questions were answered in just a moment. Just whew. All of creation opened up and shimmered, and I understood. And the odd thing about it was that it wasn't like I learned it. It wasn't like he taught me that I already knew it. It was more like remembering, more like that. I already knew all the answers to all these billions of questions. It was just a matter of going, oh yeah, sure, right. And I mean, I understand how everything, how the universe, how the multiverse works. Everything made perfect sense. But I can tell you one thing for sure. There was no judgment. There was no atonement. There was nothing that I had ever done that was completely forgiven. And forgiven in that context meant it was gone. It did not exist. You know, the stupid little boneheaded things I've done in my life that have been, you know, well, let's just say less than wonderful. I didn't have to atone for that. God wasn't holding me accountable for that. God was loving me right through it. And it was total and complete forgiveness. This being who absorbed me, and I have this download, said, now I want to introduce you to my Creator, our Creator. God, face to face. Face to face. God didn't have a face, by the way. Remember, there's no stuff there. But he wasn't the guy with the big white beard and the lightning bolts. Let me put it that way. And I'll tell you what God looked like, kind of. I've never been able to paint this. I've been trying and trying and trying, and I just can't get it. Yet. Not yet, anyway. So pretend you are the Hubble Space Telescope. And so this is surrounding you on all levels, okay? Everywhere. And you know when you look at a photograph of a galaxy is made up of little points of light, stars, right? Little points of light. Jillions of them, right? And in this case, it was infinite. It went on forever. Little points of light. And I was one of those points of light. And we were all connected. And each one of those points of light was every tsetse fly, every snail, every human being, every rock who had ever lived. And that's right, rocks are alive. I can't explain that. But rocks are also made out of love. Everything is made out of love. So it was like every being who had ever lived was there. And we were all connected. We were all one thing. And now we were separate. I was still Raymond, me. But I was also we collectively together were God. And I had this feeling of, I have all the potential and power of God. I wasn't God, but somehow through the connection with all the other points of light, I was God. So I wasn't God, but I was God. And it was like this one big thought, one big floating sphere of awareness. There, it's very obvious. Everything is made out of love. Made out of it. Like, this is love. This is an expression of God's love. And if you don't like the word God, use whatever word you want.
God is not a singular identity. God is a fabric of light that we exist in. The light is more like a home that houses us. Or we are a family of light and God is our shared body. Or God is light and we are the consciousness of that light, which happens to feel really, really good. I trust the words of humans who have been there.